The American Colonization Society that started in 1816 had the idea that they would free some slaves and have them shipped out of the country. At first, well, they thought about the Western Territories or they thought about the West Indies, but mainly they were focused on shipping people to West Africa. And in fact, eventually they did begin a colony in Liberia. The colony of Liberia was started by the American Colonization Society people. Some very prominent white politicians were involved in the beginning of that organization, and some others. Francis Scott Key, for example, was one of the founders of the American Colonization Society. Now, they were very much the conservative branch of anti-slavery. Others thought it should be gradually abolished, and that was the tactic that a lot of the northern states took at the time of the Revolutionary War, right after the Revolution. And that meant eventually slavery would die out. The New England states, primarily at the Revolution, immediately abolished slavery. And the most militant, the Garrisonians, were immediatists. They thought slavery should just be done away with today, as soon as possible. And that was all that would have to be taken care of. Now, some thought that you would have to provide education. Others thought that it would be important to provide other kinds of aid. There was even one Southern planter, Robert Carter, who freed his slaves at the time of the Revolution, 500 slaves, and sent them to Ohio and provided education for them and housing. So he wasn't exactly anti-slavery, but I guess he was. He wasn't in part of the organized anti-slavery movement, but he certainly believed in freedom for slaves and thought that it was incompatible with the principles of the American Revolution. So there was a wide spectrum of opinion about how easily ex-slaves, black people, could be integrated into the society. The most militant abolitionists thought that all you had to do was free people and they could make their own way in the society.